Hi Sarah, I'm Maya POGINY, Director of Women's Alliance. We met a few weeks ago at the coffee station upstairs. How have you been?
I've been well, thanks. I still love that afternoon cup of coffee.
Well, we're here to interview for the position of women's counselor. It can be both a challenging and rewarding job that is also quite varied in terms of responsibilities. I'm wondering why you are interested in this position.
I'm interested precisely for those reasons. I tend to thrive in jobs that have some challenge to them, but also that have some variety. My work experience in the past includes a position where I was a literacy coordinator and a children's librarian at a small library. I had to actually form both positions. I had to introduce them to the public and set the parameters of the job. So while I was there, I did all of those things, created the positions, and set up the children's library, and all of that is still in existence to this day.
Wow, that's great. You must have a lot of pride about that.
I really do.
Can you tell me in general what gives you the greatest satisfaction?
I would say helping people and providing a new perspective is what gives me the greatest satisfaction. In the past, though, I probably have overstretched myself with that. And so I've been working hard in the past few years to set up boundaries so that I don't get burned out. This summer, I was a ESL teacher, and I noticed some ways that the position could be more efficient. So I mentioned these to the director and mentioned that I would help her implement these changes. But I pointed out that I would help, but within the parameters of the job that I was doing and within the hours. So this made it very clear what my boundaries were and ensured that I wouldn't get burned out.
Yes, especially in a field like ours, it's important to keep good boundaries. It's good that you've learned how to define and put these into place.
Thank you.
Can you tell me about a job that you did not enjoy and why?
Yes, I can. Right after my oldest daughter was born, I got a job as part of the wait staff at a Japanese restaurant. And on my first day, I was trained in the kitchen, and I had to do like sort of the finishing, so putting sauces on top of dishes and stuff. I had never worked in the food industry before, and so I found the kitchen environment to be pretty overwhelming. And then in addition, there was a language barrier because everyone spoke Japanese.
Uh-oh.
So I basically had to rely on hand motions and body language to figure out what to do.
That must have been a little hard.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I realized that that job was not going to utilize my skill set the best.
It's definitely good to know one's boundaries. Will you tell me about your greatest success in college?
I would have to say my greatest success is managing to finish my degree doing mostly online classes. Most people think that online classes are real flexible and easy, and there's certainly a degree of flexibility, but they really require you to be very self-motivated and driven. And so when you have no one really directly breathing down your neck, you've got to be very disciplined. So though this was very frustrating at times, I did get it done, and I have to say I'm pretty proud of myself for that.
That does sound challenging. I guess I'd finally like to ask you what you think you can contribute to this job.
I think I can contribute the perfect merge between advocacy and counseling. My job as a literacy coordinator and children's librarian, to volunteering as an ESL teacher, to all of my women's studies classes have taught me about advocacy. And then a lot of my educational background has pointed towards counseling. So bringing those two things together is, I think, a unique background. And I have to say that I'm truly passionate about the work, and I plan to spend a lifetime in the field.
Well, thank you, Sarah. Do you have any questions before we close?
I do have one question. I am wondering, I know that this is kind of a challenging job at times, so I'm wondering what kind of supports are in place to help people in this position.
That's a great question. We have weekly staff meetings that entail kind of a breakdown of the week. That's a good place for people to talk about any issues that have come up or places where they might need additional backup. Of course, there is an open door policy. If there is a more pressing issue, you can always talk to a supervisor.
Okay. Do people actually utilize that option?
Oh, yes. We had a situation come up with a client just last week, and I worked closely with one of our counselors to provide support and work out how to deal with this issue.
Okay. Well, I don't think I have any other questions.
Okay, well, if you do, you can certainly email or call me.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you for coming in, Sarah. We're hoping to talk this week about the position and then get back to interviewees by the beginning of next week.
All right. Well, that sounds great.
Have a
Thank
nice
you so
evening.
much. You too.